What's up guys, this is Team Wagy, and today we're going to be doing a video on a rod rack I made for the old excursion. I just saw in a Googencast the other day that Lunker's TV said he actually wants one.
Okay, so I want an excursion.
No, you too want an excursion over there.
I personally want anything that's big and reliable. So, as an excursion, essentially. Yeah.
Which kind of made me happy because obviously I have this one and then my dad owns that one, so it'd be really cool to see if he can get one, and you know, to build it like his other trucks, like the 6.0 wrapped in green, and then the truck that now his wife drives. So today I'm going to be showing you a rod rack I built for the truck, and I built it because, you know, I was going pond hopping with a bunch of friends for like a whole week, and all of our rods were stacked on top of each other and they were all getting tangled, and it got to the point where I wouldn't even throw something if it was at the bottom of the stack. So I decided to make this because also you see those elite guys with those rod pods by ARE on the top of their trucks, and those are cool, but those are really made for rods without reels on them if you want to get a lot of them in there, and they're also super expensive, so I couldn't really afford that. So this cost me, I know, less than 40 bucks, and let's get into it. Okay guys, so here we are. Disregard the subwoofers, but as you can see up there, that's the rods, and it takes up very little headroom. Let me get up in here and show you. So you can hold 14 rods, and the way it works is it's just this piece of wood. It's a 1x4 going across, and I bought these hinges that hook onto my existing clothes hangers, and there's 14 holes going across, and there's this shock cord installed and all of these loops. So what happens is that shock cord goes through every single loop, and then when you put the rod in, the tension holds the rod in place and it doesn't really move at all. None of these have moved so far, and I've hit some pretty big bumps. So I wanted to make this I want to make it as easy as I could. You know, when I'm going pond hopping, I want to open up my truck, grab my rod, and go hit the pond real quick. And then when I'm done with that pond, go to another pond. So I wanted it to be super easy to get rods in and out, which this is. I could show you, but it's going to be hard with one hand. But let me see here. So all you do is you flip the rod up, and the front is the same way except the 1x3. I'll show you that in a minute. But you flip it up so the guides don't hit, and grab it like that, and boom, you're out and you're fishing the pond. And putting it back in is just as easy. You just slide it on in, bring that butt back, no pun intended, and then you bring that back all the way up to where the rod is, or the reel is up against that wood, and it holds it nice and tight. So this is the back, and on this side, this cord is stretchy, so obviously it stretches. And I have this on the back side, you know, one of those little adjusters that you can squeeze in and out to change. I know that shot's a little dark, but you can get what I'm showing. So that's how the back is. So now let's show you the front. So the front is the exact same way, 14 holes, and they're all spaced evenly. I figured the best spacing for it is 3.5 inches. So as you can see there, all the holes are drilled out and spaced properly. Same way with the hangers, it just hangs like that. And all of the wood, I used a router to get all of the edges rounded, and also the holes, all of the edges on the inside are rounded. So I think it looks really nice, and it's a super easy way to put my rods in here. I'll put a picture up right now of this system versus how I used to do it, so you can see. I decided for this little segment that I would just film it. So as you can see, all the rods are going across there, and the next clip you will see is how I used to store my rods. As you can see, this is how I used to store my rods. So all of them are just, you know, stuffed on the side, and this is the same rods that I had up there just now, So, you know, that's a ton of rods. It doesn't look like it when they're all hanging, you know, nice and neat, up, tucked away. But down here, that is a ton of rods. And it takes up my space on this side. Obviously, I'd have more space if I got rid of these, but that's not happening anytime soon. So, it takes up all that space, and then no one really is going to want to sit on that side because all those rod tips are protruding on the driver's side, second row. And you know, I would usually have tackle here. My life jacket would be right there. My tackle bag usually goes here, and then my friend's tackle goes here. And after it's all said and done, the whole back is filled up, and it's just very, very disorganized. So having that makes a really, really huge difference. And I'm probably gonna have to untangle some stuff just putting all the rods like that. But I did that just to show you guys. So please click a like on this video, just because I had to deal with this. And also, the headroom is pretty good. Let me move this bottle. I'm about 6 foot, and I'm not sure if you can see, but my head, just the hair barely touches that rod. And I'm sure if you hit a bump, you know, you'll go up, but it's not enough to actually, you know, damage the rod, because as you can see, there's some play here. So, and as far as the front seat, it doesn't even pass the front seat really. My head has never hit a rod while driving, and I've had it in here for a couple weeks, so that's pretty good. I'm assuming this third row seat, you're probably gonna hit your head because it sits a little bit higher than the front, but I never have that many people in my truck, so I didn't really worry about that. And here, let me show you a shot of the rearview mirror. It doesn't really block visibility out of the mirror. I know this is kind of a hard shot to get, but you can see the real handles all coming down, and there's still plenty of visibility back there. So that's also an important thing to me. I don't want to block all of my visibility. But as you can see, they all are just up there and out of the way. So that's really all I have to say. I think this is pretty cool that I made. I just had an idea one night about it, and the next day I was like, you know what, I'm gonna spend all day and make this. And I'll also tell you, the back, I've had to make a few revisions because, you know, whenever you are trying to create something, you have to work on it. And so at first mock-up, I didn't have any of this these corners routed. I didn't even sand the inside of the holes, and it kind of roughed up a little bit of the rods, but I sanded it and I routed it and I installed it. And I installed it before I added this cord and these little loops, and the rods would come out without tension. They'd slide forward and then just fall. So that's when I decided to add this shot cord to keep some tension. But at first, I would have it to where it would go over one rod and then come down below another and then up to create the tension. But it would hold that rod up, and then it would kind of just bounce, and it wasn't working very well. So then just a couple days ago, I added those loops, and so far none of the rods have budged even a little bit, and that's probably just how the final product is going to sit. So thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions about this, like how to make it or whatever, all I'm going to tell you, I'll actually tell you right now, if you want to make this for your SUV or truck, I'll tell you for an SUV, if you have the hooks like I do on the front and back, all you have to do is measure the distance between them, cut your wood out, add those hangers. I bought the hangers from Home Depot. I'll try to post a picture here right now of what they are. They're actually for picture frames, but they hold up to 50 pounds each. And I figure, you know, I'll never have that much weight on these things. And then you space out the holes. Like I said, I spaced them from center to center 3.5 inches, and that's 14. That's for an excursion, obviously. So you're gonna have to come up with however much you can space it. But for regular bait casting rails, 3.5 inches works. So however many you can fit across there, I would try to do as much as you can. And the front is the same way. I have 14 holes, and they're spaced 3.5 inches. Now the holes are smaller on the front because I only made it as big as my biggest guides were gonna be. So that's how I did that. And the front, like I said, is a 1x3, and this is a 1x4. And those aren't the actual measurements. It's more like 3 1/4 by 3 1/2, and 1 1/4 by 2 1/2 up there. That's just how they do it. I'm sorry, not 1 1/4, 3/4. So that's it. I'm kind of rambling now about it. If you have any more questions that I didn't address in this video, leave them in the comments. If you think it's cool, drop a like. And if this is the first time you're watching my channel, please hit subscribe. I'm trying to upload more often. I uploaded a video, I think, last week, so, you know, I'm trying to keep a trend going. And leave a comment of any video suggestions you guys have that don't actually require fishing, because at the moment, I'm not really set up to go fishing and, you know, really produce awesome videos. So if you guys want to see anything about tackle or tips or anything like that, let me know. And if you have any other suggestions, please let me know. And like I said before, please subscribe. And remember, no one said winning is easy. Thanks, guys.